you, Greg. Appreciate you very much. ESPN 93.5, Thursday morning, May 5. Vice President Kamala Harris on Roe v. Wade, quote, "This is the time to fight for women and for our country with everything we have." He's a writer and commentator, served as the managing editor of Ordinary Times since 2018, host of Heard Tell. It's a daily multi-platform program and talking about culture and politics. Andrew Donaldson, North Carolina. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What's your take here this week in a non-news week? Very slow week, of course.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the busiest couple of weeks in media we've seen in a long time. I'm curious how the vice president's going to fight any of this, because all this is pretty automatic and none of it has anything to do with her. We know what's going to happen here, although we're doing it about 3 or 4 weeks early, and we knew this was going to come out sometime in June. We'll get to the leak in a minute. But this is all pretty much set in stone. There's going to be court challenges to this. We have 26 states that already have laws on the books. That 13 of those are automatic. The rest have future dates and have legislation that have to go with them. But this process is pretty well laid out. We know what's going to happen over the next couple of months, really for the next couple of years legally on this, and none of it involves the White House and none of it involves the vice president. There's nothing they can do. So what she's doing is she's going to the rhetoric, and the president's doing this as well, because they can fundraise off this and they can try to fire up their base in an election cycle that's not really going very well for them. This is a core issue for their base. This will get them fired up. This will get the money coming in, and they're hoping it'll help them out in what's looking to be a really rough midterm for Team Blue.
I mean, what else could they have done? What else could have happened that would possibly have rekindled everything, because things are so bad?
It's amazing to me, this administration, it's not just the vice president, their comm shop, over and over and over again, they go to optics over policy. There's no policy to be had here. They're talking about codifying Roe v. Wade. That's not going anywhere. They're not going to break the filibuster for this. We've already got 3 senators saying they're not going to do it. So they've gone to the only thing they have, optics and rhetoric. They're going to get in front of a camera and talk about fighting, but the actual actions, there's no fighting to be done. There's nothing they can do here other than talk about it. And talking about it over policy is partly why things are so bad. Not all of it's the White House's fault. But when you do optics over policy again and again and again, and now we're 2 years into this presidency almost by the time we go to vote in November, people are going to notice, hey, you're in the chair, you get the blame for this.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's not like it's going away perhaps in some states, but it's not like it's the law of the land. Each state's going to get a chance to decide it. In Illinois, we're firmly blue, so there's going to be abortion services here in our state, as there will in a lot of states. It means more traveling and inconvenient perhaps for some, but it's not like it's over or anything like that. But again, this is a core deal for them to start burning things and throwing rocks at police, which happened last night.
Yeah, here's the thing. In the blue states, the progressive states, you're probably going to have more abortion because they're going to rescind, because those state governments are going to rescind the restrictions even further. The red states, they're going to restrict it further. This is going to go like alcohol and like firearms. Each state's going to have their own little thing. Roe v. Wade going down doesn't outlaw anything. Now, the individual states, some of them have those trigger laws we just talked about, so it's not completely, and they, in some places, yeah, it's going to be quote-unquote illegal, although it's overstating it a little bit. This goes back to the state, and really, we all need to keep our bearing here, because all we're really doing, we're starting this process all over again, because this is all going to be litigated. The lawsuits about this are already ready. The lawsuits against all those state actions that we talked about, those are all ready. They're already written. They're just waiting to be filed. This process, I hate to say it again, but it's kind of automatic. We're just going to start this cycle all over again. We've been debating it for 40 years. Just go ahead and gird your loins, folks. We're going to debate it for another 40 years. Mm-hmm. This is just the process we live in.
Okay. Andrew Donaldson for a few more minutes on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. So we got the midterms. I asked this question of many, and nobody can really tell me too much. What's going well for Joe Biden? What is going well?
Not a lot. He's handled Ukraine okay, but that's more because he's been letting Europe lead, and he just hasn't messed it up. But, he's done okay on that. His numbers are okay on that. His numbers on pretty much everything else are bad. We're talking about this abortion debate right now. This issue isn't really a issue that was polling well before this. It wasn't even in the top 8 or 9 things. It wasn't in the latest AP issues poll at all. Now, that might change a little bit. So I don't know that this is going to bump it up too much. It's still the economy, stupid. It's still inflation.
Yeah.
It's still crime. It's going to be foreign policy, the way he handles Ukraine. If something bad happens or if something good happens, it might move it a little bit. But it's the economy. It's crime. It's those core issues. And there's just nothing for the White House to hang their hat on and say, we're doing well on these issues. And you put in the cycle of midterm and how midterms usually go against the opposing party. This could be a really, really bad election cycle for the Democratic Party.
I guess the question then is, what are Republicans going to do with it? Can Republicans do something special? I'm kind of disenfranchised, period. It's just, thing isn't working. That's why we got Donald Trump, because people are so unhappy. I don't think they've done anything to allay our dissatisfaction with Washington.
Yeah, I'm on my 9th or 10th most important election of our lifetime, and then I'll have another one here in 2 more years.
Well, no, wait a minute. Joy Behar said it's the end of it's over if the Republican. Joy Behar, it's over. That's what she says.
Yeah. My dad had a saying about televangelists. Like, if people are saying it's the end of the world, but they have TV contracts, they're not telling me the truth. That goes for Joe Blair. Anyway, but no, the point is, this is going to continue. We know, I never discount the GOP's ability to shoot themselves in the foot and snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. They can still probably screw this up. Does that mean a 20-point swing instead of a 30-point swing? Does it mean a 15-point swing in the House instead of a 35, which would be a complete wipeout? Does that mean you get the Senate either tied up or take the Senate back as opposed to losing 1 or 2 more Senate seats, which is possible when you look at the map? Those are the kind of things. Those things really, really matter because, remember, you're 1 Senate seat away from Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stifling all the things that have happened in the last 2 years. Our progressive friends like to be mad at Joe Manchin, like, well, do you want to turn it over? These things matter. They're going to matter going forward. We have the entire House of Representatives. We have 30-some-odd senators on the ballot. Got a lot of governors, a lot of state legislatures. Yep. This is a consequential election. It would be nice if both parties would treat it like a consequential election, wouldn't it?
Yep. Andrew Donaldson, how do people find you?
Ordinary-times.com is where I write. Really privileged to write with those folks. I have my own show, not quite as good as yours, but we're working really hard to get up on their level, called Heard Tell. You can find it on all the podcasting platforms, YouTube, also on terrestrial radio here in North Carolina. And I greatly appreciate your time, sir. Thanks for the time.
Nice to meet Andrew Donaldson. Again, Ordinary Times and his Heard Tell. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. Appreciate you very much. Thank you.